Hello everyone, this is Selena. Welcome back to one of my crochet videos. If you're new to my channel, welcome. So today I'm going to bring to you a tutorial on how to crochet this lovely bohemian bandeau headband, which is so easy to make. It's really simple, so I'm just going to walk you through it step by step. Just so you know, the free written pattern and all the photos and explanations are on my blog, selenaveronique.com. I will be linking everything, all my materials and all my links down below in the description box. So to make this headband, I have used different colors in cotton yarns. So I have used Sirdar Cotton DK for the white, and then for the colours I used these Ricorumi DK by Rico Creative Designs. I will be linking all the colours down in the description box, so don't worry. You will also be needing a 4mm crochet hook as well as a 3mm crochet hook. The 3mm crochet hook will be for the flowers and the 4 for the actual headband. You will also be needing a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, and you will be needing a very basic elastic just to finish off your project. And just so you know, I will be using US terms. So to begin the tutorial, I will be showing you how to make the headband. I have already made mine for this tutorial. I will be showing you the step-by-step with a random yarn just because it's easier to show on camera. Your project, just make a slip knot and take your 4mm crochet hook and pop it through that slip knot, like so. And now we are going to be chaining 61. So 1, 2, 3. So I've chained a lot less, however you should have 61 stitches and chains, and this is the exact same principle. We are going to be placing a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So just go ahead and place your single crochet into that. So just pop your hook through, take your yarn, pull it through, and then take your yarn and pull through 2 loops. And this counts as our first single crochet of this row. And if you need more help on how to single crochet, just head to the description box and I've linked my video on how to single crochet. And into the next chain, you are just going to be doing the exact same thing. So just go ahead and single crochet into that. So just pop your hook through, take your yarn, and then take your yarn and pull through 2 loops. And just go ahead and do that until the end of your row. So here we are, I've single crocheted until the end of my row, and you should have a much longer chain project. So to make row 2, it's very simple. You are just going to chain 1, and this counts as our first single crochet that goes with this stitch. And basically you're just going to go now into the second stitch and just place a single crochet into that. So just pop your hook through and pop a single crochet, and what you're going to do is just pop a single crochet into each and every single crochet from the previous row until the end of this row, and then I'll show you what to do. Okay, so I've almost reached the end of the second row, and I'm just going to pop my last single crochet into that single crochet at the end, and there we go. We've got the 2 rows that we need to make our bohemian headband. So once we've done that, we are going to be making the edge. So this is the edging. It's a chain arc edge, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. So to make the chain arc edge, you are just going to be chaining 1, chain 1, turn your work, so we will be working along this edge. And what we're going to do is we are going to single crochet into that first stitch once again. So usually our chain 1 counts as a single crochet, but not in this case. So just go ahead and pop a single crochet into that stitch. What we're going to do now is chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, skip 1 stitch, and go into the next stitch with a single crochet. So just go ahead and place a single crochet into that stitch. We are going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, skip 1 chain and go into the next. So just go into that next chain, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, skip 1 stitch and go into the next chain, like so. And we are going to be doing that until the end of this row. So here we are, I finished my row. Yours should be longer. So to go down the side, so basically we've worked this side and we want to go all around. What we're going to do is just turn our work so that it goes from being this side up to just this side up. And it's very easy. You are just simply going to slip stitch. Just pop your hook directly through this place, take your yarn, pull through here, and then pull through the stitch. And then we're just going to go into that second row of our project and do the same thing, just slip stitch through that. And so now that we've slip stitched through this side, we are just going to be turning our project like so, just so that we can work on this side. So what we're going to do is the exact same thing as on the other side, just chain 1, go back into that same stitch and place a single crochet. So just single crochet into the first stitch, and now chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. We are going to skip 1 single crochet and go into the next. So just single crochet into the next stitch. Now chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Skip 1 stitch and go into the next one. So just go into that next stitch. Chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and skip 1 stitch and go into the next. And I'll just show you what to do once we reach the end of this row. So I finished this edging this side. I'm just going to turn my work round just to work on this side and finish off this headband. So we're just going to do the same, just slip stitch twice into each row as best you can. So just go into each row and slip stitch. And now we are just going to be fastening off. So basically, once I've snipped my yarn off, I'm just going to take this and pull it through this stitch just to tie a knot. There we go. And I finished my sample. So for this part of the project, I'm going to show you how to make the flowers. So we are going to have 3 flowers to pop onto our project. I've already made one, and I'm going to show you how to make your flower. So yes, so just grab your 3mm crochet hook. So to begin your very simple flower, you are going to make a slip knot. So just go ahead and create a slip knot. Pop your hook through this slip knot, and you are just going to be chaining 4. So once you've got your chain 4, you are just going into the first stitch with your hook to slip stitch to form a ring. So just go through that stitch and this stitch with your hook, and you should have a ring into which you are going to be placing 10 single crochets directly. So basically just take your hook, go into the center. I'm just going to tie in my loose end as I go, and just go ahead and place 10 single crochets. So I'm just going to take my yarn, pull it through. I've got 2 loops on my hook and pull through 2 loops. And again, just go into that center and take your yarn and pop a single crochet. And you are going to be doing that 10 times into that circle. So just go ahead and pop a single crochet, 10 single crochets into that center. So once you've got your 10 single crochets, you are just going to be slip stitching through that first stitch right here. So just go through both strands, take your yarn and slip stitch through your project just to tie in those stitches. And if you are going to be changing yarn colors like I'm going to do, what you're going to do is just snip off your yarn and pull your yarn through. Very simple. Go through this one, so I'm just going to go through with my hook, take my second color and pull the strand through like so. I'm just going to tie the yarn. I'm just going to close my circle by pulling on this strand. So that's closed my circle, and I'm just going to snip off my yarn. There we go. So I've snipped off my yarn, and I'm just going to show you how to make this. So once you've popped your yarn in, just go back with your hook and chain 2. So just take your yarn and chain 2. So 1 and 2. And what we're going to do now is just go in with a double crochet that we're not going to finish, and this is how we're going to create our first petal. So just take your hook, wrap your yarn around your hook, go into that same stitch into which we just worked, take your yarn, pull it through, and we now have 3 loops on our hook, and just pull your yarn through 2 loops and leave this double crochet unfinished. So now what we're going to do, now that we've got this double crochet that's not finished, we're just going to do the same thing, wrap our yarn around the hook, go into the next stitch. So just go into the next stitch and pop your hook through, grab your yarn, pull it through, and we've got 4 loops on our hook. Pull our yarn through 2 loops, and we're just going to finish this stitch by grabbing our yarn and pulling through 3 loops. And this is most of our petal almost finished. We do have to chain 2, 1 and 2. And to finish this off, we're just going to slip stitch through this stitch that we've just worked in. So just go through that stitch and slip stitch. So I'll just let you slip stitch through that. I'm just going to So now this is our first petal done, and we've still got another 4 to go. So to create your next petal, you are just going to go into the next stitch and slip stitch through that. So just pop your hook through both strands, take your yarn, pull it through and pull it through, and we are going to chain 2, 1 and 2. We are going to wrap our yarn around the hook, go into that same stitch to create our double crochet that we're not finishing. So take your yarn, we've got 3 loops on the hook, take your yarn, pull through 2 loops, and we're just going to leave this unfinished. We've got 2 strands on the hook. We are just going to wrap our yarn around and go into the next stitch. So just go into the next stitch, pop your hook through, pull your yarn through and go through 2 loops and finish this stitch off by going through 3 loops and chain 2, 1 and 2, and go into that same stitch that we've just worked into to pop a slip stitch like so. There we go, and we've just finished our second petal. So it's quite easy, isn't it? So to make your third petal, just go into the next stitch and slip stitch through that, chain 2, 1 and 2. We are going to wrap our yarn around and go into that same stitch and start making a double crochet that we're not going to finish. Wrap your yarn again, go into the next stitch, and there we go. Go through 2 loops, finish the stitch, go through 3 loops, chain 2, 1 and 2, and slip stitch through this. There we go, and there we go. Now we're just gonna, so this is the third petal, and what we're going to do now is create the last 2 in the exact same fashion. So I'm just going to let you carry on doing your petals, and I'll meet you back just to show you how to finish off this flower. So I've almost finished my flower. I've just chained 2, and I'm just going to slip stitch through that last stitch. So I'm just going to slip stitch through that, and I've just finished my 5 petals. And to finish off the project, we are just going to go into the first petal a bit randomly at the bottom of any stitch and slip stitch again, just so that it closes that flower up like so. And what we're going to do is just snip our yarn off, but this time just leave quite a long tail to sew the flower into our project. And so once you've snipped off the yarn, just pull through this stitch just to create a knot. And there we go, we've got a flower. So now that we've crocheted this flower, I'm just going to let you make 2 more. So I will be using a yellow yarn for the center with a pink yarn for the petals. However, you can just make whichever colours you prefer, of course, and then I'll just show you how to sew them onto your project. So I've just finished my 3 flowers. And so now we're going to sew them. So with this pattern, I've sewn them to the side of my headband, if that makes any sense. So they're not at the top of my head. And the headband measures 16 inches in total. And the first flower is going to be placed 4 inches away from one side of your headband. Again, they're not exactly equally placed. So this one is a bit higher, this is a bit lower, and this is again a bit higher. But just place your flowers however you want. This is what I've done because I really like the look. So my flower is placed a bit to the top of the project, 4 inches away. I've just popped my tapestry needle into the project and I'm just going to start sewing. So just pop your flower like this and just start sewing as best you can your flower in. So I'm just going to try and zoom because it's a very light shade, isn't it? So it's hard to see on camera. So as you can see, I'm just going to pop my needle in, and I'm just going to go through the back of my headband, and just again, if you can see, this is the back of my headband, and it's all a bit, I wouldn't say random because it's not random, but just place your flower, just secure it as best you can. So just go around each petal. So I'm just going around each petal, and I'm not going to secure it too tightly. This is why I'm going to leave the petals loose, if that makes any sense. I'm just kind of going around just to secure the center onto the headband. So just go ahead and secure your flower as best you can with this tapestry needle. Okay, so I've gone around my whole flower, and this is what it looks like at the back and at the front. So it's nice and secure, but it's not like squished to the project. What I'm just going to do is go to the back and just tie a knot into the back of the project. So I'm just going to go back and forth a couple of times with my needle and then just tie a knot. Not too tightly because you don't want it to look weird, but just try and make it as secure as you possibly can. And that's why I just go around a few times just to make sure that it's nice and secure. Once you've decided it's nice and secure, just snip off the yarn, and there you go. You've got your first flower. So what you are going to be doing, so what I'm going to be doing is securing my second flower, which is the blue one, and I'm going to try and place it like a bit lower here. So I'm just going to do the exact same thing. I might just, yes. So just sew in your flower. I'm just going to do that. And sew in your third flower too, and then I'll show you in the exact same way. I'm going to place my third flower. I'm just going to show you now. My third flower is going to be like this. So this is what my cluster is going to look like. And I'll just let you carry on, and then I'll show you how to finish off your project. So now you are just going to be taking your elastic that you would have knotted in the middle. So it's really easy, just go ahead and knot it together so that it creates a knot in the middle, and kind of pull it so that this knot creates an equal amount of elastic on each side. And just go ahead, and what we're going to do is stitch the elastic onto our project. So just go ahead and take your loose end from one side, and what we're going to do is just stitch this onto our project. And it's very easy. Once you've knotted this, you're just going to go through this elastic one side with your needle. So I'm just going to zoom in, and so you're just going to go round and round your project. So it's very simple. You just go round and round until you reach the other side of your headband, if that makes sense. Like so, just go round as best you can just stitching this onto the headband, and then I'll just meet you back once I've reached the other side to show you what to do. So I'm really happy with how I've popped the stitches through, and I've been around another few times, just an extra few times. I'm just going to pop my hook through to the back because this is the front. So I'm just going to go into the back and show you how to create a knot. So just create a knot like you would usually in crochet. So I'm just going to stitch through a stitch and then take this yarn and create a knot like so. And I'm going to create another knot. So just again, just go through a couple of times. And then once you've knotted this part to your liking, so there we go. So I've pulled this, it's nice and secure, and I have 2 knots. I'm just going to snip off my yarn, and this is what it looks like. And what we're going to do is just turn our project round, and obviously we are going to be making sure we've not twisted it in any way. So just make sure you've not twisted your project, and you are just going to do the same thing onto this side of the knot with this side of the project. Okay, so I've gone around a number of times and I'm very happy with how I've tied this to the elastic. So I'm just again, so this is the front, so I'm just going to pop my needle through to the back, turn this round, and again, like I showed you previously, just create a knot or a few knots as best you can, like so. I know it's not easy to see because of the white yarn. And so then once you've secured this in the back of your project like you like, just snip off your loose ends. So there we go. So I love how this looks. It's so boho and cute and romantic. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you want more of this content, like boho romantic type of videos, just let me know and I'll be happy to make them. And in the meantime, see you next week for another crochet video. Thank you for watching.